Right, let's see if he moves this time. Not so far. We're doing all right. I'm going to have a stab at making this one now. Just there's quite a lot of stuff in my head about this, but there's quite a lot of tied things that are tied in with what's been going on recently about to do with the stuff that that I'm doing at the moment, and to do with a lot of things actually. You know what? Someone just messengered, and the little thingy's come up, and it's right over my face. I just basically had someone else's face as my eye, and it was really off-putting. So, where was I? Yeah. So these sort of poison paradigms and stuff. So that's it. I was talking about my motivation, wasn't I? And how. So this whole kind of, come on, you said you'd do it, rah 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 rah. It's quite a good example of one of those in action, because the dreaded feeling that was waiting to happen was, you always let people down. You always let people down. You always say you're going to do something, you never do it. You haven't really done it. You've just been fucking lazy. Da, 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 da. You know, so there's those times when I'm trying to be objective with myself, and like, fucking hell, you know, I can't even sit at the computer for half an hour without blah 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 blah, and I'm getting past all that. And then a bit later, there's a different part of me that still feels like me concluding it. But in actual fact, I was just being a lazy cunt. Do you know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing I was on about with all of this battling stuff. It's like, for fuck's sake, I can't get anything right. Even to myself, I can't get anything right. I'm always ready to bollock myself about something. And this is what I'm saying, they're sort of ready to be in place in response to natural phenomena, liking somebody, falling in love with them, falling for them falling in love with me. I've got a weird conclusion that happens after any of them. And like, you know, I love you. Someone saying I love you means you're in fucking trouble. You better start fucking worrying. You've now got to prove yourself to me. You're going to let me down. I bet you're going to fucking let me down. All that sort of shit. I just start to get fears built. Oh, fuck, she loves me. That's not right. That's not how you're supposed to respond to someone loving you. That's what I get. That's what I get. You know, I love you means now you've got to do stuff. Now I'm going to say, you have to do that or you're going to upset me. You know, because that's what I've had. I've had that manipulation a lot from people. Do this because I love you. I'm only doing this because I love you. And when you've got that drummed into you enough times, I love you becomes poisoned. And it's not baggage anymore. And this is the sort of thing I'm saying, where people kind of think that that's baggage from the past. Let that shit go. It's like, if you can do that, you weren't as affected by it. It's that simple. Not that it was better or worse, or that you're stronger or weaker. You weren't as affected by it. Fact. If that wasn't a fact, there wouldn't be so many fucking people like me sitting in fucking homes wanting to fucking die, with the world telling them that they're just normal and they just need to get over it. They're not like the real mentally unwell people. But another thing that was interesting about this is I looked at my motivation. So in this case, it was perfectionism as well. Perfectionism is a lot to do with it, because I can't, you know, if I start doing it, and a lot of time I'll start to get impatient and whatever, and it's because it's not going perfectly, because I'm not smashing it out. And again, that I have to stop myself in the moment and figure that shit out. That's why I'm saying this shit is hard. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm saying I know it's all fucking wrong, but it's like, right, for fuck's sake, I'll just convince myself I'm not a dick again before I write this next sentence. And that's why it becomes exhausting. But there's that perfectionism element, and also that, you know, you're just going to be a letdown, and all of those lead to the pressure of it. But then I think that just another much bigger version of that happened. So like when I had my meltdown, I remember saying a lot of the time I discovered a lot of me. I wrote that yum and yuck post that I just referred to everything as yum and yuck, because I am made of yum. And it was about that. And so I was thinking, why am I finding all this yuck here? I am not made of yuck. That can't be me. And it was like I made everything into yum and yuck. But I was basically describing the sort of shit I'm talking about now. And this was like 2 or 3 years ago I wrote that poem. And a lot of that was the motivation of See, I can do it. And it was actually quite worrying because the comparison I'm going to make is that the one I've mentioned before when my friend, and I said she was the second person to actually listen to my story of what melted me down and actually believe me in a way that made me believe that she believed me anyway. And when she grabbed my hand and she just went, "How are you so lovely? How are you so..." She was genuinely baffled. And she said, "You should hate everyone. You should hate everyone." I mean, she's not English, so I know what she meant by that, because that's in, if you take that as a direct meaning in English, that's not what she was saying. She was saying, "I wouldn't be surprised if you hated everyone. I would have expected someone who's been through what you've been through to hate everyone," is what she was saying. But then I then turned around and said, "Well, maybe that's the one good thing that's come from it then. Is it's taught, because she said, 'You're always so nice to everyone.' I was thinking, well, I'm glad someone notices. Normally I get called selfish. By a lot of people, I just get called fucking selfish. She's like, 'You're so lovely to everyone. You're so kind to everyone.'" And so that was a good thing that had come out of the bad thing. That's the sort of thing that everyone says, "Yay, see, it was all worth it." It's like, no, it still was fucking horrible. No. It's not getting off that fucking easily. But I think that was another thing. It's a large part of my motivation, which is the rejection of that. And the rejection of, bear in mind, Dr. Bleepers, he said to me, you were starting to reject the idea of yourself, your own psyche, your own mind. You were going to delete Mikey from your head, from your mainframe, from your awareness. There was going to be no more Mikey. So I don't know what anything is anymore. Mikey knew all that. That's what it gets like. And then, that's how far away I was from completely deconstructing my whole sense of anything that is real. And that's what made me schizotypal, I swear. That's what made me go from being someone who's a bit quirky and has got the remnants of ADHD, or whatever as they like to call it. It's like, fuck off. ADHD is that fucking symbol. I swear that's what made me schizotypal. That huge, massive, oh my God, this is not reality. Oh my fucking, and like all the way back when. And every single fucking thing I've ever been through in fucking therapy, and every single thing in my life suddenly gets fucking recalculated. Totally. That's the nuts and bolts of it, regardless of how you describe what the dynamics were, the social dynamics of what caused it, the cognitive, mental dynamics are that's what was starting to happen. So then, because I'm sort of looking at the fact that it's like, basically, I was free of all of that. I was free of a lot of what I thought was me. The bits I didn't like that I thought was me, and the yuck. I was free of all of that. But then within the yuck was that need to not be yuck, and that need to be perfect, and that need to get everything done. Because the fact of the matter is, anyone that knew me and 10 years ago, 5 years ago, would say, "You're always fucking busy." And I know that once I went to uni, once all the shit started in 2014, when I came back from Ghana and there was all the bullshit, that's when I started to lose my mind. That was a huge, massively uncomfortable social situation that wouldn't make anyone go mad, but it would be extremely difficult for anyone to go through. And the extent of it was never really recognised, I think, by a lot of people. The damage was well already done. It wasn't like the final nail in the coffin, but it was like, oh, that coffin you're making? Well, here's the lid and the lining, and here's the hinges, and now it can be a coffin. And then everything else was the nails and whatever. But yeah, definitely that was a huge contributor to me losing my mind, that bullshit. Because I was already in an unstable frame of mind. And that's when I started to get more lazy. And hide a lot more and have much less motivation to do things. And like I say, the final year at uni took about just everything I fucking had. I had a failed placement to retake. Everyone completed. All of my cohort had finished, graduated, done. Early summer holiday for some of them. Some of them went straight back to work. They were already done and finished and working as physios. And I had to repeat a placement that, in my worst subject as a final third year student, when you're in the whole of the third year, it's like, you're not really a student now, you're a physio. There's your patients, go and work as one. And then call me if you need me, that sort of stuff. And I'm working in the ICU. I'm working in the fucking ICU and the HDU. So just to pass that placement was amazing. You know, showed that I've got a lot of character and a lot of resolve. But it fucking near on killed me. But again, I think a lot of that was basically, look, I am clever, really. And I was sort of proving that point, because I think that was part of the big anticlimax. And then when everything went really, really fucking tits up and I rejected all of that myself, it was like suddenly I rejected that need to be validated in that way. It's turned into a massive need to be validated by the rest of society, but there we go. Is what it is. But, you know, that's I certainly wouldn't say that's all of it, but I do think that's a large part of my motivation to be busy and to get stuff done was probably to, you know, all the same sort of things as, you know, the energy has to come out and rah, 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 rah. But, you know, that's what I've been noticing that's different, is the energy still has to come out, but I can't concentrate on things, you know, way worse than it ever was with any sort of level of ADHD. It's just I can't get into anything. I think a lot of what was motivating me to do that was that fear of being not good enough for certain people, without even knowing it, without having any conscious awareness of it whatsoever, just thinking I was a busy person. And I think there's a lot, you know, I won't discount the impact or the significance of that, I think, because that's where I need to work around what's motivating me. Because it was a stick. So I need to find a carrot. I need to find a carrot. I was going to call this Mike Hunt too. I do know Mike Hunt. I've just about got time to tell this story. There's this girl that I was, she was like, I was mates with her from the club scene. And then she sort of grew up and had a baby, all that sort of stuff. And then we started to like knock around a few years later as just me and her. And we did end up dating, whatever. And it was just as I was starting to think, I think I quite like her. I'd always said, I want a girl to propose to me on 29th February, so I have to have her surname, because I don't like my surname. And if she's called Hunt, I get to be called Mike Hunt. Hock is just as good. Mike Hock. Hi, Hock. Mike Hock. Nice to meet you. Mike Hock. That's probably better. And as she was chatting, she was just telling me a story. And her name was Hutton. And she said it really quickly. And I remember thinking, and I said, what did you say your surname was? And she said, Hutton. And I was like, I thought you said Hunt. Because I was actually thinking, no way. This is someone that you're just starting to sort of think, oh, I think I might have feelings for this girl. And I've always dreamed of a girl with the surname Hunt. And I was thinking, my dreams have come true. I'm going to be called my cunt. Fabulous. Anyway, yeah, I'm rattling a lot of bullshit out tonight. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to call this Mike Hunt. I think I'm going to have to now. Because I was going to call it the thing that I ended with just before I said I don't know what I was going to call this episode. I've now forgotten that in telling you the story about Mike Hunt, and I'd have to watch 13 minutes and 43 seconds. I'm just going to call it Mike Hunt 2.